Legacy Cast, making room for her story so we can remember what's possible and rise together. Hello, friends. Welcome. I'm Jill Leberknight, chair of the Women's Impact Network, and you're here today for another one of our exciting Legacy Cast story shares. But before we start, I always like to make sure that we're tuned in and we're full body listening. So I'm going to ask us to take a good little deep breath, get present with our body so we can witness this story today. So let's take a deep breath together. Let's take one more. And someone gifted me these great little sensory tools. So if you've got a little sensory tool around, I always say it's great to wake up your body, alert your system so that you are ready to full body listening. Because you know what? This is not just a conversation today with me and the guest. This is a moment for women to speak their truth. We know and believe that sharing our stories is a restorative act. We've been written out of history and stories for so long that we are giving and carving out intentional space to tune in and lift each other up, because we've learned when we speak our truth and when we lift each other up, we imagine and remember what's possible for us and our community and the young women that are looking up to us. So today I'm really excited for you to meet this guest. I have had the honor of working with this powerhouse for the past year and have been admiring her from afar for many years. I'm bringing her on stage.
Hi.
Ta-da! Miss Danielle Dunham, one of our fellow board directors at the Women's Impact Network, but Danielle is also team lead of the Danielle Dunham Collective. She leads an extraordinary group of powerhouse, passionate community leaders in Detroit. And, Danielle, ever since I met you, you have been reminding me of the power of calm, confident presence. Mm-hmm. And so today I am really looking forward to kind of digging in and getting to know where this calm confidence has, where did it grow up from? So welcome.
For having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So we get to play. Danielle's also the chair of our events group with the Women's Impact Network. So she's been unleashing her creativity in our event space, serving all of our members and the women that we work to inspire. But Danielle, take me back. Mm-hmm. I always like to go back and better understand tell us a little bit about 7 or 8-year-old Danielle, because we know that sometimes our core memories begin at a young age. So where were you? Where did you grow up? What was your world? What was around you at the young Danielle?
So young Danielle, elementary wise, I grew up in Oak Park, Michigan. So Oak Park, Michigan is like a very small city right outside of Detroit. It's actually called the family city. Like a lot of family, middle class, mixed race. It was just a wonderful place to grow up. All you see is parks and trees and, brick houses, just wonderful. So I grew up, my mom and dad separated a little bit, I'd say about around 4. But the wonderful thing about their separations, they remain really good friends. So no drama, no, XYZ. My dad actually got married and my mom and my stepmom actually were really good friends, or are really good friends. Yeah. So I grew up there. My dad actually was in real estate. So I am a real estate kid.
I did not know that.
Yes.
What?
Yes, I literally used to get out of school and have to go up to my dad's real estate office and sit up there and do my homework or go get And sometimes I didn't leave until he got off of work and things like that. So I used to go to showings on Saturdays and, I definitely had a well-rounded experience of, I'm not at that age, not home ownership, but just, houses and people buy houses. And my stepmom actually had a mortgage company. So we talking about, back in 2000 something, 2000s, 1998 and 2000, all the way up to about 2004. So kind of got a little bit of that as well, a little bit of experience of that, or just being in the office. I ain't gonna say experience, but definitely was a real estate kid. So real estate has been my life for a very long time.
Wow, I hear this story a lot. There are a lot of people that enter into the real estate industry because it was a world and a narrative that was introduced to them.
So so I had this idea, right? So high school, let's kind of fast forward. High school, I had an idea like, oh, get my real estate license, turn 18, I'm just gonna work with my dad. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to college, but I'm gonna do that because I know I can make this amount of money, right? Honestly, my dad actually passed away a couple months after my 16th birthday.
Oh my gosh.
And then also that was the year 2004. So we were hit Detroit Metro, but the whole country was hit with the biggest housing crisis ever. But our city went bankrupt here in Detroit. Our housing market crashed. People lost their houses. So it really wasn't a great time to start a real estate career. And also I had other passions. I really was into healthcare. I had dreams of being a nurse until I actually worked in the hospital. I was like, oh, I don't really like this part. But I stayed working in the hospital and realized I love helping people, but kind of a little bit of more behind the scenes, more business wise. And, there's other ways you can do it and help people. So I actually went to school for healthcare and I worked in majority of Metro Detroit hospitals. Yep.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there are a lot of industries that bring a lot of important skills to this work, because a lot of people come to real estate after another career.
Yes.
And healthcare is one of those industries that, whether it's social work or serving people, you already have that natural skill of knowing how to intake, help someone get onboarded or, triaged into assessing their needs and then caring for them. So sounds like you already had some of those natural skills.
You know what? When I started a particular job, I worked in quality, right? So healthcare quality. So I was one with a lot of physicians. I say that built me for real estate. If you can tell somebody who is almost borderline genius what to do and how to do it, and they have to respond to you and get yourself comfortable having these conversations, it totally opened me up. Like real estate was a walk in the park. If I got to tell this doctor has been practicing for 40 years, he can no longer write anything down. He has to put everything in an EMR system. I could tell a buyer their offer wasn't accepted, or I could negotiate a deal. So it definitely prepared me. That was the role I was in before I went full-time into real estate, and working one-on-one physicians and training and teaching. It it's what I do now, really, is, work with people, train, teach, show, things on computers, learn, new systems and all that. So, I used to create training programs. So it kind of ties in a lot of that. That experience definitely helped me.
So did you grow into that position, or was that sort of a direction that you knew to explore?
So, with Jill, when we were getting accepted into the board and it was a big announcement, I always say that I'm so big into pour into women because so many women poured into me. Mm-hmm. So like my first real position working in corporate in healthcare was a woman that worked with me, and I was working in hospital registration. So, you come to ER, you get registered, things like that, or you go for testing. So, I was working there at 19. There's a lady that's working with me, and it was just sweet and nice. I just always would talk to her, and we would just talk about different things and what I wanted to do and stuff. And then one day she was like, Danielle, I want you to apply to this job. She was like, I work at DMC. So this is the hospital there. So, but okay. I was like, yeah, I'll apply. She's like, they'll pay you, it'll pay much more. I was like, okay, cool. So, I applied. She looked at my resume. She kind of, did little things to it. I go to this. She was like, yeah. So I got an interview. I was like, oh, yeah, I got an interview. She okay, I might see you. Well, I walk into the interview and she's the director of finance for a DMC hospital. Did not know. When I talked to her further on, she was like, oh, no, I just worked there to pay my student loans off. Like she was the head boss. And, like she put me in. And so that kind of got me into insurances and like working with Hermanos, which was one of our cancer hospitals here in Michigan. So working into insurances, which led to me working in quality because insurances, Medicaid and Medicare have quality programs that physicians have to complete in order to be in compliance and also to still get paid by these major payment, Medicare for short, these major payment resources. So from there, that got me to actually working for Medicare and Medicaid in quality and just working with, how would you say it? Practices. I worked with physicians that were in areas that needed the most, like a high Medicaid population. Distressed, majority Detroit and low income areas and things like that. So I work with physicians that kind of cater to them, and through me getting them on an EMR, because this is back when EMR and you still was getting paper charts, and some doctors still doing that. And they like, we want everybody on a computer system. Everything needs to be documented. It's it's the best for quality. You could see everything. Everything will talk across the board. So I'm transitioning physicians that's been in business 30, 40 years into using a computer, which was hard. But also these were not physicians who were, surgeons, top pay. They worked in these communities where Medicaid was like, or Medicaid and Medicare was like, hey, if you transition, we're going to give you this bonus. So I was helping them get the bonus to pay for it and all that training it took. So I always say this. I absolutely love I absolutely love my former career. It wasn't I'll make more money here. I make great money. And I absolutely love my career. I just felt I went from working with people like this here all day and reporting and meetings with, heads of teams instead of working with people. So I just felt I could be more impactful in real estate. That made
I mean, it sounds also like hearing you talk this out, Danielle, like, and I know you're really aware and tuned in gifts and to your vision and purpose. I feel like, I mean, you obviously were mindful enough to not, even though that's all you had been surrounded by growing up is real estate and mortgage in this industry, you were mindful enough to not pursue it at a troubled time in the market and try something and lean into another skill. So that's already telling me that you were tuned into the calm confidence that I know of Danielle. And that as you were exploring this, you didn't, when someone believed in you and offered you an opportunity, you didn't doubt that. You leaned into exploring that. So like, are you mindful of maybe the inner confidence that you had in your journey, in the things that you were exploring and trying out?
So what's so crazy, Jill? I definitely think I handle situations a lot better than others, right? I do not, I try not to, panic and, come across, but in my mind, I am going crazy, but yes, I definitely freak out. I overthink. I'll stay up all night thinking. I'm an overthinker. I am definitely an overthinker. If nothing else, I'm an overthinker. If I got it, now I'm here, we're talking, I'm good. But please believe I overthought, for the last 3 or 4 hours, about a certain situation.
Yeah.
I always want to make sure. I think my thing is this. I feel like I'm level-headed. With that being said, even if I feel strongly about a situation or something that's going on, I still want to think about things from other people's point of view. So I do that in any aspect. Like, should I go for this? Let's say it was a job or something like that. Like, would this be, impactful for my daughter? Will this be great for me? Where would it lead? Or okay, if I leave my current position, where would that leave me with those people? Like, I just try to play everything, around each other. But real estate. When it came to real estate, when I first started, I used to panic about everything. Like, oh my God, I didn't get the EMD in 48 hours. Oh, I think I missed some inspection. I used to panic. Being in the business so long taught me not to fret. My clients said, oh, I think they're going to walk away. I used to go crazy. And then I learned to, you know what? I'm just going to call her tomorrow. I bet she still wants the house. And I'll wake up, call them tomorrow. Oh, hey, how you doing? This you still want to go for it? Yeah, I was thinking I am going to go. See, if I would have acted up and went crazy because she wasn't like, but now it gave me patience because there's a lot of crazy moments in real estate. So I attribute real estate to my calm.
Gosh. Okay. Because I mean, clearly in the healthcare industry, whether even if you weren't in an ER environment, healthcare, you're still dealing with people that are often not in their best, state.
Yeah.
Or doctors that are like absorbing all of that stress and managing a lot of stuff, or as you said, have been trained and used to being in a privileged situation. It seemed like you had to gather and gain a lot of people skills in that work.
Okay, so let me say this. I think my superpower has always been, and the reason I've been able to excel and, move up in different jobs is that I am a great multitasker. I actually do better when there's more things to do. Does that sound crazy?
Because I am not that.
Like that is my real, like, I like, okay, I do this, do that. Like, I think that is why, like, and when you're dealing with somebody that's on demand, okay, you got to, okay, I need a chart. I need this. I need that. It kind of makes you pay attention, stay alert. My mind run, like I said, I'm overthinking. My mind runs, so I'm already thinking about this. I like working. I like being busy. So it never was it's like I lived for it, when somebody else probably would have panicked. And I kind of like that chaos of life. Now I'm a little calm. I don't really like it as much. But then, like 20-something Danielle, like, oh, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. Okay, I'm gonna stay and get this. Like, I love it, and I love accomplishing goals. So, all right, I'm about to show them I can do this. I'm about to do this. I just feel like I always had something personally to prove, but I don't know. That I think that is it. I am a great multitasker.
Oh my gosh. Well, that is something to be mindful of and a talent to use. And I wonder if if you're in real estate, you have to multitask. You have to know how to it's like you're like an octopus, like putting out 10 fires at one time. Mm-hmm. I wonder, like, growing up with a dad that was in people in both lending and real estate, if you were witnessing that pace.
And I was. So my dad was like, this is like before social media, so he passed away in 2004. So just imagine any time before that. Like, my dad did commercials. He did like seminars. I remember, it was an area hotel. He did a seminar. He was on radio and brought all these people in. He had Les Brown speak at an event. Like, everything I'm doing now and have been a part of is like, that really was like, it wasn't. And it's so crazy because it wasn't a big deal to me then. Like, now I reflect and I'm like, oh, I really was a part of things like that. So my dad was this big personality. I can say this. I am much more introverted than he was. So he was like, hey, in your face, hey, like he would succeed so well in this market in this time because he has always been that in your face. Hey, how I'm doing. You know how we talk about imposter syndrome and how men they don't even have it. It did not exist. Didn't walk into a room and people would not, like, he never was nervous about anything. So I watched it and it gave me confidence, but definitely I'm the scaled back version. A lot of people say, you act just like your dad, you're just like your dad. He's a little bit more, a little better. I'll give him a little better. Because I panic at things and he just, let's get it done. He was like that, right?
Well, this is making so much sense because listeners, friends, Danielle got 17 dynamic, members in her team. She's a 5-time icon, which EXP is one of our highest production awards. 5 times she has iconed. You're also part owner of a title company. How did you step into that?
So it was me and a couple of it's women owned. Minority owned and women owned. A couple of my business partners. It was just like the next step. Like, we had an agreement with a title company. It was like, all right, we send them so much business. Why don't we have our own? And it was just a part of our EXP downline. Like, hey, we formed this collaboration where we got everybody in our downline together. We kind of teach and train them together. And it's like, we got the power of, realtors under us, as well as all 5 of us was icon agents. So it was just like totally just the easiest and best business decision to get into.
Yeah. I'm just so glad that you're sharing this because I talk with some other female entrepreneurs, and I think it's so important that that young women and women in business hear these types of stories, because sometimes it's not even in our definition of things that we can do. And so just hearing you say, "Oh, if I'm sending people business, why don't I just create one of my own?" That is an unusual, sometimes even today, for women to even have those types of creative thoughts. So I'm so glad that you had, again, this confident voice inside. This may be where you're overthinking is serving you, to think what was possible for you. So how long have you had this title company?
We are going on our third year. Yeah.
Wow.
You know what stuck out to me, like even before we got into the title company, I remember I went to a bidding event. It was a bidding event. It was a like it was a, I don't want to call it a seminar. It was a retreat. And they had a host of nice speakers there. They were wonderful. But one lady in particular, she said the fastest way to make money in real estate is, of course, to sell and buy, own property, and to sell something to realtors.
And are you talking about the Black EXP network, Ben?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to, so for folks that aren't as in tune with Ben, you know, I have witnessed, I'm really active in the Austin area with our Austin Black real estate professionals, and I feel like I hear more discussion and conversation around ownership amongst the Black real estate professionals that I don't always hear in our white female real estate. And so I think this is so powerful, the movement amongst Black entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, that are encouraging each other to be your own broker, be your own lead, own your own business, step into something new. You can do this. And there is this. So do you feel like are you witnessing this? Or is this something that I'm just witnessing as a white? I hope you don't mind. Like,
you know what? Let me say this. One thing I'm big on is teaching realtors is more to business than buying and selling. One thing, like one of my first goals when I got into real estate was that I wanted to buy, I'm using my real estate money to buy an investment property. Because look, at this point in time, I make great money where I'm at. All my bills are paid. So this money is really, you know, extra in a sense. So that was like my first goal. So, and after that, it was, you know, I wanted to start, it was kind of during COVID, and it was, you know, it wasn't really much how I'm fighting for a house. I said, I'm about to start flipping my own houses. Like I'm gonna buy, I'm gonna fix it up for my own clients. Like, you know, like in my head, but that got me into it. One of the biggest things I struggle with is mindset. And that's even with just agents and just getting them positive and, hey, you know, you can do it. You can sell. What's your goals? You know, you have to constantly, you know, remind people about their value. And like, even if you don't see it, like, please believe it. Right. So one of the things is that a lot of agents are so stuck on like the income, you know, selling a house can be, but hey, that same investor you're trying to look for that property for, how about trying to figure out how you can buy it? Like, you know, you're making, you know, $9,000. He's making $100,000. Like, how can you become that person? So it's just opening up your mind.
Yeah, it feels like, it always feels like one of those old pictures of the lens kind of opening up, and you know, you just have to adjust it a little bit and see a different perspective. Do you think you've always been able to kind of?
I always wanted. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've always been a person that I was the type of person, I had a great job and I'm still going to apply for other jobs. Like, not that I'm not real or anything. I like interviews. Like, you know, I always like to see, well, how much they going to pay me? I go to the interview, like, oh, no, I'm not going to take it. You know, I've always looked for something more. I always research. I always looking, like, before I bought my first home. So let's go back to there. You know, my dad passed when I was 16. I bought my first home 26, 27-ish. Nobody around me were really into real estate anymore. Nobody, you know, could really guide me. No one close. It's 10 years had passed, you know. So I went to a home buyer seminar. And I went and I listened. I took everything down. My credit was a little messed up. I said, okay, I got to get my credit good. I focused. I said, oh, I'm taking this whole year. I'm not going out. Going out in the aspect of like going out to eat. I'm a cook, doing things I
Oh,
could.
wait, I didn't know that. I'll have to hear about that.
But, like I'm going to really focus on, always been very, very goal oriented. But then it's like, it's always the next level. Okay, so now I own my own home. I want to own this. I want to have rental property. All right. Okay, now I'm working. And then I learn. I'm a sponge. I will never stop learning. If me and anybody I have a conversation with, I can learn from. You tell me something about Texas real estate, and I'm just going to soak it all up. And guess what? I know 2 years down the line, sometime down the line, I'm going to have to use that. Like, I'm just a sponge. So, I'm working with investors. They're buying property. And I start asking questions. I found out that one of my investors, because, Detroit is a very heavy investor market. One of my investors was like a real estate advisor for Fox 2, not news, not local, but just period. And I was like, hey, I really want to get an investment. He should start telling me different things I should do, but I always watch and I see what's the trends and what's going on. And okay, well, I can do that. I always feel like, I guess so. You're right. I am confident. I always feel like if someone else can do it, I can do it. And if I also see them do it, I really can do it. So.
And you said the word, I'm always wanting more, but, I'm also hearing, the applying for other jobs. I'm hearing constant curiosity and wonder from you, which is the thing that often feeds those of us that try new things and explore new things and learn new things and are the perpetual students. So, so you mentioned earlier that I heard mention of a daughter, like family. So did you, you got one daughter?
I have one child. Her name is Milan. She's 13 years old. She's so great. That's my little mini me. That is my mini me. I have, how people say daddy's girl. I have a mommy's girl. I don't leave my side much at all. Like, even if I'm home, she's gonna be home. It's bad.
Oh, I love that. And so, do you unleash your culinary creativity with her?
Yeah.
Because I know some realtors, after a busy day, they feel like cooking is a way to unwind, and that is not how I look at cooking. But so, is that like a creative outlet for you, cooking?
It can be. It's like I get in my moods, right? I cook every day after work, and then sometimes I'm picking up something. One thing I am big on now that she's in 8th grade. I will, okay, Milan, you want nachos? All right, come on, let's go season the meat. And having her actually do it and just kind of guiding her. So I kind of got her more so not cooking a whole meal, but all right, let me show you what seasons going is. Okay, you do this part. So I'm trying to teach her, because that's how my grandma was. My grandma, our grandma's was a little more settled, and things like that. But that helped everything she cooked. I had to help, and I wanted to. So I just trying to get her in that mood so she could be, independent or know how to.
That is so great. As someone who, lost my mom at a young age, to health, it was, I missed some of that mom teaching me how to cook chapter. So I love that you're doing that. So, like, were there any challenges to this confidence as it was growing and evolving? Did you meet any headwinds? Because I feel like I so love, and I think there are likely more female allies out there, like strategic, Betsy Myers, who we've worked with at the Women's Impact Network, taught us about active sponsorship, which is different from mentorship. It's taking more of an active role, which it sounds like that director at the health center, like encouraging you to apply for a job, seeing, talent in you and encouraging you maybe when you didn't even see. That's I'm so glad that you had that. Were there any obstacles or challenges as you were exploring and building this or nurturing this confidence?
Oh, I think that's where it's rooted from. It's rooted from trauma. It's rooted from bad times. Lord. So like one of the biggest things, like, for instance, my dad passed away. I was 16. My mom actually dealt with mental issues. So at 16, literally didn't have any parents. So I'm going to school, 11th grade. I'm living with my grandmother. So a lot of it came from one, I want to make my dad proud. So I'm such a daddy's girl.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I mean, that first semester when I went back to school, it wasn't oh, I'm depressed. Because I absolutely was depressed, but it was I gotta get all A's. I gotta do this. I gotta get straight of my business, right? So that was what grief did to me. It made me very much okay. I got. My dad wanted me to do this. He wanted me to get grades. He wanted me to go to college. Like it kind of motivated me, right?
Mhm.
Turning 18, like how hard it was to apply for colleges when you don't have your parent information. Like because my mom wasn't passed away, she wasn't deceased. She just was missing at that time, and it was just she was off her meds and things like that.
Mhm.
So I didn't have her information, so I couldn't I had to be creative and figure things out, and so it was just always these obstacles, and I just knew I had to beat them. So okay, well, I'm gonna look for a job. I gotta be the best at the job because guess what? Nobody's gonna help me, right? I
Mm.
don't have that support system. I can't call my mom or call my dad and say, hey, I need help with my rent this month. So that trauma of, and I don't want to say trauma, that's life experience, right?
Yeah.
Experience I went through definitely made me independent, right? So when
Yeah.
you're independent and you can't count on anybody, and I truly, that's truly what it was. You can't help but have confidence. Or if it's not confidence, you gotta try it because you have to do whatever you can do to make your life better. Shortly after that, I had Milan. I had Milan at 24.
Mhm.
Me and her dad separated. He wasn't really, when you break up the relationship, he's not really the best father now that we're not together. So
Mm.
I had a daughter, and that definitely motivated me. Definitely wouldn't call that was just that was a beautiful life experience because my daughter came a year after my diagnosis with MS, and so
Mm.
definitely changed me, right? If for those who's listening don't know what MS is, multiple sclerosis. I was diagnosed at 20, I think I was 22 when I got diagnosed. So I got pregnant, 23, had Milan at 24.
That's young for multiple sclerosis because I also have multiple sclerosis, and Danielle and I you've been a great support to me as a female leader with a chronic illness. But that's young.
Well, you know what? I didn't realize, they call it the young person's disease, Jill. The whole thing is when you get diagnosed older, you probably already had it. It's
Oh,
just
yes. Oh, I
maybe
definitely was in that category.
mine came out a little, or I was able, it came out a little bit earlier than yours, but, when here I am, the person that always researched everything. So once I found out what I had, and I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people was like, how did you feel? I said, I was relieved. I was absolutely relieved because I knew something was wrong. And you're not going to, doctors going to the ER. Hey, I'm in pain. Hey, go see a rheumatologist. Go see this neurologist. Go see this. And there's no answer. When someone finally confirms what you know you feel inside your body, it's everything. I was relieved. It's like, okay, well, how am I going to go for it? I immediately joined the MS Society. I looked into this. I got into, not drug programs, but they did a lot of things that were newly diagnosed. So like I would go to dinners and different things like that. And that kind of taught me like the wide scope of who get diagnosed, right? So it's teenagers in wheelchairs, which made me totally depressed one time. But then it was people my age, and then it was people older than me. I actually met someone at an event, and I wish I would have kept up with her, but her mom had MS. I had never seen that, I had Milan. I was like, please, I hope she don't.
Yeah.
But like, her and her mom both had it. So I learned a lot about the disease from that. And it also helped me realize that I'm gonna be okay. I always met people. I always say that my journey at MS has always been so profound. Do you know my first client in real estate had MS?
Now I remember you sharing that with me.
My first client in real estate had MS. It was her and her husband looking for a house, older couple, And I would literally go pick her up sometimes because her husband had to work. So because she didn't drive. And she always had a cane. I didn't know. She older, so I didn't think anything of it. And I don't know what made me ask her, like, hey, like, like, what, I don't know how I said it. It had to be, But she was like, I have MS. Like I was like, I do too. She was like, do you? And she just started, and she actually is the one who referred me to my neurologist now, which my treatment got so much better after she referred me. My first patient my first client, like I was like, this is all God's alignment. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, boy, can I relate to the relief thing, because I was, on the other spectrum of, some of us are 20, I was 25-year medical mystery. No one could figure out, but the reality was people were missing things and I wasn't in the right hands. And so it was a relief because I was starting to feel crazy. And so there was a natural grieving process of the stages of anger, acceptance, and then eventually to this is a superpower because now I have an awareness of, how to monitor stress and how to take care of myself and how to think beyond a framework or a definition or society's definition. So listeners, you're looking at two women, Danielle's, icon agent, like extraordinarily successful team lead, part owner of a title company, extraordinary career, single mom, and she's, managing wonderfully multiple sclerosis. I'm a chair of a organization and team as well. So we're doing great. It's a manageable, pathway.
Jill, it's all mindset. I made a decision because I did get depressed after my diagnosis. So, I'm happy, I'm relieved, but am I going to be on Social Security? That was real. Like, I'm 22. Like, am I going to be able to work? Because, I was bad. I had to get the steroids. I had to get the treatments to kind of come out of my, remitting, relapsing version. So, once I got back to normal, I said, listen, I don't care what I got. I'm going to try to do whatever I can until I can't do it. Like, it's just mindset, and this is something I teach to my agents is that, you can sit up and give me every excuse. And I probably got two more. I probably experienced two more things worse than what you're going through or you've been through. I have agents who are part-time career. I said, there's no excuse. Like, and not saying in that aspect, but I want to be your motivation. I told you the job I had, very serious job. I had when I was like 4-year-old at the time. And I still made 6 figures in real estate with a full-time job. So to me, if you're serious or if you're dedicated, is it something you really want, or you're goal oriented, if you have a goal you want to meet, you can do it despite it all. I just don't, health and things like, of course, I have had to take step backs. I always attribute 2023 to like that is the time of all the years I've been diagnosed since 2011. 2023 was a year I actually had to sit down. Like they didn't know what was wrong with me, Jill. They didn't know. They said, well, you're not in a relapse, but you have all the symptoms. It was the weirdest thing ever. Steroids didn't work. The medicine wasn't working. I'm literally in my bed for almost 3 months, just in pain every day. And that moment made me, because I'm such on the go, right? I'm 5-time icon, this team, I had my team at the time, all of that. That moment made me sit back and realize who's important, what's important, and I have to put myself first. So it's no excuse. If you have goals, you can make it. But I also have learned that you have to make time for yourself too. So I don't want to be you can do it, but
sure.
Please make time for yourself. So now my preaching to my agents is, okay, you set your goals, you can do this and this. Okay, but take Sunday off, enjoy your kids. Like, it kind of pulled back because I understand what overworking, burning out, and then doing, being present for everything. You don't have to be present for everything, So I'm learning that.
See, you're always learning. You're a forever student.
Yeah.
But the word that comes to mind hearing all of this is you've got classic grit, which has been deep dive studied by a number of researchers. And those of us who've been through trauma or extensive life events that are going to happen to us, that figure out some way to survive and, keep putting one foot in front of the other. And you've had this challenging time that you just spoke of that also gave this other layer of also knowing when it's appropriate to take a breath. And I think sometimes in this achievement world, like we're in a society that values it's achievement oriented, and social media is only sort of like exasperating that, of like, if I'm not able to post some new grand thing that I'm doing, what am I doing? And that's just, as you get older, that's just not entirely sustainable.
It's not. And you know what, Jill, my biggest thing, even when I first started real estate, like I told you, it was not out of a need for money. It was more so like I bought my first house, 26, 27. I look around, none of my friends own homes, none of my cousins own homes. So it's like, I need to teach people, like this wasn't hard. I got $21,000 in grants to buy a house. My closing costs was $137. I had to bring to closing. Okay. $1,000 EMB inspection. So what we're talking about, $1,500. My first house, now mind you, I'm in Detroit. So for my people that live in California and New York, my first house was $115,000. I stayed there for 5 years. I sold the house for $220,000. So like,
that's really how you grow, little baby steps.
When we talk about generational wealth, that was my next house, I didn't put $1 towards. I didn't go in my savings. I didn't do anything. I took my closing funds and I put it towards my next house. But I'm saying all this to say that we had to really tap into, what we do. I got into real estate only because I wanted to help people. And guess what? Help my goal to help people and be around people, because I was tired of the corporate job of just sports and getting a paycheck. It led to me being successful in real estate. I'm posting just because I just want to get a client and make some money. It was like, at that point in time, Jill, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I grew up in real estate. I wasn't in the inner working. I didn't know how much people got paid. I didn't know how much I was supposed to get paid for closings and stuff like that. I know they got paid, but I didn't have a great example of like, a real estate agent, so I didn't know, I don't know, I learned in class, but not for real. So it wasn't really a goal-oriented like money thing. It was after that first or second closing or that first year, I was like, oh, I should use this money to buy investment property, right? But if you have a pure heart, I just feel like in anything you do in life, if you have a pure heart or if you have a purpose to it, the money will come.
Yeah. Preach. I mean, everyone, I feel like pearls of wisdom just came out, because a lot of realtors, I am community focused, service focused. And those of us who do that, people feel that energy. They want to support, they feel and see that, and they want to respond and participate and connect with people that want to add good to this world. So tell me, like, where are your daydreams going in terms of where you want to, all this rich history of these journeys that you've been on? I know you're, daily, weekly, monthly, you were pouring into these agents, but like, where are your daydreams taking you in terms of supporting, building generational wealth, or, the younger generation? Like, is there something that's a seed that's growing in you with all of that you've learned?
So Jill, with everything is always good and bad. One of the things that no matter, has not been an easy road to, is that I truly want to teach people, like my team came from I had extra. I had so many clients. I was forgetting to call people back. So I was like, hey, I'm already mentoring. I was a mentor. I've already got people in my downline. They calling me. I might as well just start a team, right? And in that team, my purpose was like, I'm going to teach these young women, because most of them are younger than me, how to be successful in real estate. They're 25, 26, and things like that. And like how it changed my life. Like, like I said, I made good money, but I didn't make real estate money, I was able to afford different things. I'm confident when I purchase something because we all have this back in our head, like, hey, what if things go south, So, that was really my purpose, and it still is, right? So my thing is it's not even with the team, because I open, like, I do these monthly things. I'm starting back because I used to do things like this, but where I invite all agents. I don't care if you're part of my downline. I don't care if you're on somebody else's team, if you're at, another agency. Like, I just like to pour into people that definitely I can see myself in, or just whoever ask me a question. I am one realtor that is going to give you everything. Like, hey, this thing, I did this, and this, and this. It's no sweat off my back. I can't take a client from you. You can't take a client from me. If it's meant to be for me, it was always going to be for me. So, one of my goals is to continue what I am doing, is like, pouring into different agents with my experience. I'm not saying I'm the top agent. I got all the best ways. I don't. I'm still learning. But I do know what I do know. So I'll be willing to share it, right? So I think that anytime we learn something, we need to pour back into people, right? Even if it is just pouring into, hey, how to navigate. Like, how do you navigate a busy career and be a mom? Or how you, like, my mom, I'm a caretaker for my mom now. So, we ended up locating her when I was like 21, just to finish that story up. And ever since then, I've been kind of more so her caretaker. So how do you navigate being a caretaker, a single mom? How you I can teach you about navigating different things, or at least be motivation. I understand if you want to talk to somebody that understand having a lot of weight on you personally and still have to show up and perform. I am your girl. I am definitely your girl. But as to aspirations right now, Jill, I am in a place right now where I am trying to figure it out. I love real estate, and I probably will never stop doing real estate, but I definitely feel it's more I could do. And it's purpose, purpose to help people. It's something on a higher level, and it may not involve money. It may not be a money thing, but it's something that's going to fill my soul a little bit. I like challenges. I like, growth. I'm always looking for the next best thing. And I'm getting a little complacent. Of course I can do more, get more people, I can make more money in real estate, but I know real estate. What is my next level? Or what is more I can do with my purpose or with the knowledge I have?
And you know what? I talk about this a lot in our Women's Impact Network work and programming. We've launched our At the Table programming. We've witnessed and observed women right now really craving fellowship and opportunities to gather and learn from each other. So I feel like right now, what the world needs is just authentic Danielle being present in her community, telling these stories and being accessible. And everything that I've learned, the more I've learned about you today, is you're going to know exactly what you're supposed to do next when it's needed. When the world needs Danielle to kick into a different gear or explore a different path, you're going to know, because you have always tuned in. You've allowed yourself to tune in or be able to see when the lens opens up a different view. But right now, I do feel like our communities, women need to have opportunities and access to women who have navigated challenge and have figured out a way to make it work, and to see them define their success in their unique way. Because, you have this wonderful team, but maybe women don't realize that you can be okay with a team this size. You don't always have to be building and building and building and building and building.
I'm at my cap with the team thing, because I can't be personal. I can't, hey, I can answer the phone. I can't come sit in my office if it's that big. I never had a desire for that. Like it just definitely. But as you said, it is the time and moment. And I think, and this is just talking to you, I talk to a lot of younger agents, Jill. Everybody have an idea of who they should be in real estate. And they have to be this certain type of way, or they have to dress this certain type of way. They have to present themselves this type of way. Of course, you gotta be professional. Of course, you got to know your stuff, but social media and all that, it just takes it. It just makes it so fake. Sometimes they don't understand that people fall in love with you, who you are. I get somebody in my inbox posting my daughter graduation, about buying a house. Like being authentic I've never changed. Like, I am a girl that likes to dress nice and dress up and have a nice car, but I've been that girl. This is before she ever got a real estate license. I'm not being different. I'm not being fake. That is really me. That's not a real estate thing. But if you are the girl who likes to, play sports and you're really athletic, let's talk about it. I'm be you authentically. You don't have to dress up in a skirt and you don't like skirts. It's just a copy and paste. And I get it. If it's not broken, it's okay. Repeat the same thing. But people don't understand how unique they are. And I just try to explain that to my agents. Like, you guys are dope. You guys know great people. You are a mother. Like, oh my God, like people knew this about you. They would love it, But we need to restore that back into
100%. You're speaking truth. And what you were getting at towards the end is that very power of the gathering and huddling in these small groups is you have an opportunity to help other women discover their authenticity and what their unique passions or hobbies or style or story is. Because social media or whatever, we definitely are driven to want to be like the celebrities or the people that are succeeding. And that's why we need Danielle's authentic story. And you presenting, you've got this beautiful design of your office and your logo, and it has this style to it that I'm not skilled that way. You know me, I'd be better with the jazz hands and the top hat.
I love that.
That's me. I've turned that into my brand.
I like, even when it started, you just started doing the introduction. Like, I wish I could be that. Like I can't do that. I will feel so weird. I'm like, oh, she got to teach me that, because like people don't understand how unique, like how you may like this about me, but I love that about you. Like you just automatically comfortable. It takes me a minute. It takes me a while. If I'm talking from the heart, it'll go right. But I'm gonna be thinking if I'm gonna trip over my words, like you do it effortlessly. So
we need each other encouraging, because I sometimes think I'm too much, because as a young girl, I was told that a lot. So we've got a lot of chatter in our head as women, and I think sometimes our female sphere and allies can help us calm some of that chatter that, may not be existing at all, if any, so that we could truly just sit in presence with exactly who we are and embrace that and give that to the world, because the world needs that. So Danielle, where can people, like, if people want to follow your journey, your story, more about you, more of the stuff that you're doing, where might they find some of your content or education, folks that are in Detroit or beyond?
So let me just say this. This was my Get Danielle Together year. So I haven't been as active. Like, I'm still active business page wise, but it's a lot to come, because I got all these wonderful plans of, putting myself back out there. But I got stuff. Danielle Sells Detroit on Instagram. That is my personal page. I post the same things, but it's pretty much a business page, guys. But that is my, and then also the Danielle Dunham Collective is my business page on Instagram. Facebook, Danielle Dunham Definitely get me.
I follow all your socials, and I have so much fun. I want to move to Detroit. Well, I sent you some of my friends that just moved up there because, folks are looking at new places. Everyone's shifting, but they are having so much fun in Detroit and love it. But there's a little part of me that wants to, be a member of the Danielle Dunham Collective so I could be in those wonderful, what was your event, your wine and women event. Man, I need to travel and have some trips up to Detroit if you will have me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, gotta come. I'm thinking the title company is gonna do a mastermind. I would love to have you.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so much fun. Well, it really was impactful and meaningful to hear more of your story today. I've, of course, have gotten to know, some of these details, but you have an extraordinary story, and I want to encourage you to share this more. We're going to be, sharing this as wide and as big as we can go. But you do inspire me on a regular basis. And I know the women that you inspire daily. I want more people to know about your heart and this amazing calm confidence that you are able to bring to all that you do. We know what is behind it now, but it's still a wonderful gift that you bring, a presence that you bring to every room and every experience. So I can't wait to continue to journey with you and explore things and change the world through our Women's Impact Network and inspire the next generation, of agents, women that are in, our age and, and above, and the generation of your daughter that, needs role models. They need role models. We need role models. So we're going to encourage each other. So thanks for sharing the story today.
Thank you, Jill.
Talk for fun. Yeah. We keep going. Go team. Okay. Well, thank you. And onward we go, guys. Thank you for joining us today, and stay tuned for our next story. Who knows who will be sitting here next? But we're glad that Danielle was here. So have a good rest of your day, and we're glad you were here. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Legacy Cast, making room for her story so we can remember what's possible and rise together.